Oh, my fault. Yo, for real, that countdown, like that beat starts slapping at a certain point, like
I know it
around
really does.
like around like maybe second 20. I was like, all right, yeah, all right. Who put this beat together? This is nice. Okay. Well, that's how the show is gonna pretty much
That's
go.
how I was gonna start
No,
off.
that's pretty much how it's gonna go. Hello, everyone. Thank you and welcome for joining us for another episode of Fandom Initiative podcast. Um, just very excited, very happy to be here. As always, I am Antonio Pomares, the Hungry Bleek, the hungriest man in the room, and hungry in a couple of different ways. Thank you for joining us. Mad hydrating for life. That's what's up. That's what's up. If drink your water was a person, right here, right here. Conspicuous by his absence is Michael Williams, cinema CEO, the cinema god. Unfortunately, he and Lady Mina have had a family tragedy, so they're not here. But as always, brother, I'm with you. Whatever's going on, already hit you up continuously. Got you. Miss you. See you next week or whatever you are ready to come back. For real. Got you, brother. No worries. Just like I wasn't here last week because I had inventory, unfortunately, what have you. But I'm so lucky to be joined by Takeia Marie, the hungrier than I am. Hungrier than I am. All right, see how it is. I'm trying to, and you're not over there. See how
I know, right?
see how it is. See how it
We were
is.
just talking about that.
See how to do us with this Mirror Master mess they got going on. How are you doing today?
Try not to choke. Remember, I just told you
Yeah,
I just randomly choke on dry air. That's why I was drinking so much water, trying to be able to talk to you guys.
I thought you were about to drown on the water because you was like taking that bottle. Like
I was tearing and everything. I was
yeah,
like, oh my God, really? As soon as the countdown finished, this couldn't happen when the countdown was going?
The thing is that I was in my tea and I was vibing to that beat, so I didn't even see you like hitting that water. Like
man, I was hitting that water hard during that countdown. I was trying, but
that countdown beat is just yeah, I need a bottle of that somehow. All right, so we're going to talk about the week. I feel like things happen at the end of the week, which is weird. No, actually, it's not weird because when like I have nothing for the run sheet really, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be easy. Then all of a sudden, everything ramps up that last day when I'm like half in, half out. I just had a bunch of food, and I'm just about to fall asleep. That's when everything ramps up. So we're gonna hit with the movies. First up, Ta-Nehisi Coates. Nobody throw a chair, please. Is writing the new Superman movie, and it's being produced by J.J. Abrams. Kind of interesting. I don't think this is going to be Clark. I think it's going to be possibly what's the Black Superman of Earth 2, Val Zod. I think might be who it is.
Okay.
I'm not too familiar with that Superman. I just know that when they had that, what was it, New 52 when they had the Earth 2 series?
I think you might be right. You might know more than me though, because you're the comic guru.
But I didn't read any of it. It looked interesting, but I was like, yo, this is more. I was like, my list is already ridiculous.
Man,
I can't.
I told you my list is like a scroll at this point. I have so much stuff to read.
For real, like I'm legit mad at a certain point. Like when the pandemic happened, I was like, okay, so y'all not doing anything right now. All right, so I'm gonna do this pile. And I was like, oh, cool. Then I started seeing stuff coming out. I was like, okay, trickle a little bit down at a time. Then all of a sudden, everybody was just like, had a handful of comics they just thrown at it.
It was raining comics.
And then all the series, like series were still coming up because, they were, doing post-production, such like that, or what have you. So they didn't have to have anybody there. But everything started ramping up. This is interesting. I know he can be a very divisive person as far as his comic book writing can go. I mean, because people will know him from his previous work, but as far as comics, people know him from Black Panther,
right?
Because he wrote on that for a few years.
Yeah, for a few years, and then he did Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he still doing Cap?
I don't know if he's still writing Cap. I think I read maybe the 1 or 2 issues of that one.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's still writing it. I haven't kept up with it. So it'll be interesting to see what he does on Superman. Ta-Nehisi Coates he's a phenomenal writer. I knew him from The Atlantic before, he kind of like, I guess, really popped off when he dropped his book and everything. And so he's a phenomenal writer. It'll be interesting to see how that translates to storytelling, though, because, writing, kind of, I guess, essays and stuff like that is very different than comic book writing.
Right.
Or in this case, I guess, movie writing. So it'll be interesting to see how, his knowledge of that, especially when it comes to, I guess, being Black in America in general, will translate to the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to, because I enjoyed his initial run of Black Panther. Then it got to a point where I was like, okay, it's all right. I can't. This is, you gotta, but I still, I think I have all of the issues from his run. I have, I think, like the first 3 in print, but then I have the rest of them digitally. Because he was on it, I want to say, for like 4, maybe 5 years, maybe.
I read that first trade, and I have the other stuff, like in the intergalactic stuff too. But I haven't gotten up to reading all of that yet. I'm telling you, it's just so much to read. Oh my goodness.
And I felt like Black Panther was being, at a certain point, I felt like it was being dropped every week. Like every week there was, and I was like, wait, no, it's supposed to be once a month. What are y'all? I was like, no, this is not. And I don't know, but I know that at the time there were like a lot of tie-ins because of the movie, the popularity, and then there was Panther's Quest, which was on Disney XD, which was like a spinoff of the Avengers cartoon, the anime series that they had going on. So I know there was a lot of Black Panther stuff going on, and they were like, "Oh, this is really popular. We knew, but we didn't know. So let's throw everything out." And they had a lot of crossovers going on and different writers doing it. But I feel like every week there was something new from Black Panther. I'm not mad at that, obviously, at all, because I think I have it all. Now, I have I don't think I have all of that stuff now. Yeah, like everything when Chadwick Boseman passed, Comixology had all the Black Panther stuff, except for the trades. They had all the single issues were free. Yeah. So and they had it free for, I think it was like a few months, I want to say, after he passed. Yeah. So grab everything, and I'm looking, I'm like, wow, I didn't realize there was this much going on.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff.
There is. But you know what? I want to see what he's going to do with Superman. I want to see what Superman he's going to be writing. Like I said, I don't know if it's Clark. I wonder if it's Val, John, because I'm still not sure if Henry Cavill, I'll be honest with you, probably butchering his name both ways. Yes. If he is going to be coming back for a new Superman movie.
Sometimes I don't know what's going on with DC in their movies, because didn't he want to leave, and then there was talks about him coming back? Or
I think when the whole Witcher thing started, like he was like, okay, I'm good, I'm out. Yeah. But then I believe he went back for reshoots as far as the Snyder cut. So I think that is when he's back doing Superman, but I think it was just for the Snyder cut.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know what's going on after that. And then they have, the new Batman with Pattinson. So I don't know where what direction they're going. Honestly, I have no idea. They might not, to be honest with you. They might be just like, look, we just gonna make a movie and see what happens. I mean,
I could be wrong, but I was under the impression that the Pattinson stuff was like not part of the, I guess, the original stuff that they're doing, like kind of like Joker in a sense, where it's its own thing. Yeah,
it's gonna be like a standalone thing, but because of DC having so many universes and such, at some point they could possibly meld them, do a multiverse. I mean, they could. I mean, I don't know. They're not taking the same route that MCU is taking, obviously, which is okay. Do your own thing, take your own, blaze your own trail. I mean, obviously. I just want them to prosper, because even though we just had this conversation about having so much content out there, I just want them to prosper. I want everybody to prosper and everybody to be able to have fun and do what they do and everybody to enjoy the stuff. I just want them to have an idea of what they want to do.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm excited to see what he does. This could be something completely different. And if it's a Val Zod movie, I want to see what's going on. It's interesting. And hopefully that'll get people more into his character from Earth 2, see what happens, what have you. Next up is the Mortal Kombat trailer. Woo! Have you seen it?
I have seen it. I have seen the trailer. And everybody has been talking about it. My friend texted me about it. It was like, did you see it? Did you see it? So, I mean, HBO is trying to go in hard. They're trying to go in hard with that whole Warner Brothers deal, you know?
Yeah. I saw it. Look, I've seen the original one like 175 times. I love that movie.
Yeah, I remember.
So when that trailer first comes out, and you like, this is when like trailers were like really hitting because you had to watch trailer in the theater. Yeah. And then you told people about it. Like it wasn't really YouTube, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember you know what? I saw the trailer when I went to go see, I think it was Fridays, maybe. I think Friday, yeah. And I remember seeing it, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of cool. This is all right. And then you hear that dude, Mortal Kombat. I was like, what? I was like, wait, what happened? And you see Robin Shue was the actor who played Liu Kang, seeing him like jump off the wall, like run towards the wall, jump off it, and then kick. And you're like, wait, what? Hold on. And it was something so different because I think before that, or maybe around the same time, we had Street Fighter, which it wasn't the same.
Nah, Street Fighter is one of those movies that you look back on it just to laugh, but not.
Yeah. But you'll still watch
it was bad when it came out.
but you'll still watch it because you like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know what's hilarious? When the Mortal Kombat trailer came out, I came across this article that this woman wrote, I think I can't remember which site it was, but she was saying, why is it Chun-Li in the trailer? And I was like, oh, girl, these nerds are going to come. Did you see that? I was like, oh, these nerds are going to come for you.
No, that's
I was like, don't do it. I was like, why did her editors let her go out like that?
The way you just said that reminded me of the videos where it's like, girl, don't do it. Girl, I'm just thinking about doing it. I ain't gonna do it. I did it, girl. I did it. Why? I didn't even go to the comments. I saw it like one of the few times that I was on Facebook. I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep scrolling. I don't want to see this massacre. Nope. And I know they was going in.
Yeah, they was being real sarcastic about it in the comments. They were naming characters that could never possibly be in Mortal Kombat. It's like, why is it this person in there? Why is it Mario in there? Why is it they were going in.
Because we ain't shit. The geek nerd community ain't shit. I have love-hate relationship, but we ain't shit. When it comes to stuff like that, we like.
I knew as soon as she said that, though, it was a wrap. I just exited stage left.
And you know it's mostly black people. Because you know, we ain't got shit to do. We at work, we at home. We like, wait, what? Because we were the first ones to watch that trailer for real. Because we jumped on that trailer. I know a lot of Blurs, Bleeks who play the games. Like the games are like, I haven't played because I'm not a fighting game person anymore. But they be playing and they love it. And seeing this, and it looked so, and it's the fact that it might be R-rated, I think. It looks R-rated.
Yeah. It
looks R-rated.
If it's not, it probably should be.
If not, that's a hard PG-13. That's you like just on the edge. You like you right there. But it looks great. We got a shot of everyone. We got Liu Kang, we got Jax, we've got Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Katana, Melina, I want to say is it. I think somebody said that they saw Baraka.
Oh, did they?
I think somebody was saying that they may have seen Baraka in the scene where Liu Kang raises the fire dragon.
Yeah.
They said that he was like off to the side somewhere, like looking down. and watching. So maybe like watching like a fight, the tournament fight, because I believe that's one of his fatalities. It's been a long time that I've played the game, so I don't know what they're doing in the games. I just know that they bloody as all hell.
What do you think about it? You know, obviously it's supposed to be released simultaneously in the movies, right? In the theaters. Do you think that this is one of those that people will try to, you know, risk COVID for, or do you think it's definitely a stay at home and stream it?
Stay at home and stream it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. This is more Michael's forte. Next week, I will be bringing up these same topics with Michael because Michael is sitting in the director's chair. I think, and there will actually be another topic that we'll be getting into that kind of intertwines with this as well. I know some people are going to theaters, not as many, obviously,
right?
Because the numbers are low for movies that have been coming out. I can't blame people. I don't want the theaters to close, obviously, because I love the movie theater experience, but right now is not the time. I think people are still going to go to it just because they want to still have that experience. There's nothing. Let me tell you, if Endgame came out now, people would risk it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think everyone's gonna risk it once the Marvel movies start dropping.
For real.
I think everybody's gonna risk it.
If Endgame came out when like the Purge horn went off, people gonna go. I mean, no, we good.
We're good.
They're gonna come in. They go there. No, we good.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I still think that people will still, and I'm sure that there are people that still go to the movies regularly because they know the process. They trust the theater that they go to, the one that's closer to them, possibly. You know, that they know they trust it. But I do think that what HBO is doing is a way to kind of lift morale for people, but also still try to give theaters something as well, because not everyone has HBO, not everyone wants to pay for the service, and you get it for, I want to say it's about a month or so, and then it goes away, and I think it's 90 days in theaters, I want to say, maybe 45, 90 days.
Yeah.
I think. But there are definitely going to be people that would still go and risk it. And something like this, I mean, I'm not going to personally. But I think there are people,
watch it at home.
Yeah, but I think there are still people that will go. I don't think it'll be as many, obviously. I mean, obviously also because you can't fit everybody in the theaters now because of spacing, how they have it. Which is actually, I actually want to look at my local theater and see how the spacing is when I look at the chart, because I'm kind of interested in that. Like, not go, but just like to see what it's like on the map. But I think people will still go and they'll still see it, you know. But they had to do something. Michael and I have differing opinions on this. But I was like, well, what are you going to do? This is the best of both worlds. I mean, Disney has a different way of doing it with their premium membership for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Where you pay for the movie and then you get it for as long as you have it. But then the movie ends up being released, I think, like maybe 90 days later on the service. So a lot of people wait. Some people might want it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think Disney's way of doing it can also be debatable.
Yeah.
What was Mike's opinion that they should just only release in theaters, or?
Well, that was the thing too, because I asked Mike, I said, well, then what should they do? And he didn't have an answer because it's so unprecedented. It's so thick. But I was like, I had ideas like, well, like what they're doing is kind of what my idea was. You try to, serve both masters.
Yeah.
No matter what, there's no wrong answer and there's no right answer. There's nothing that you can do. But if you have all this content and you're sitting on this movie for, however long, people are going to forget about it. They're not going to be as apt to watch it. Some things are actually coming out on VOD, which I don't blame them either. But there's no right answer for it, honestly.
There really isn't. And it's interesting because have you seen what's the conversation that's been going on with Dune?
No. Because I'm interested in Dune. Because I want to see Dune tomorrow.
Dune is actually the thing that I think I was probably most excited from Warner Brothers' whole, list of things going to HBO Max. Dune was probably the one I was most interested in. And now I think there's some sort of contention where it may not be on HBO Max, because when Warner Brothers made that deal, I think it's Legendary who funded most of the movie, the actual making of the movie, even
I think
though
so, yeah.
Warner Brothers, I guess, must have handled distribution or something. And so I think it was Legendary that funded most of the movie. So they're like, well, if you put it on streaming, we're not gonna make our money back. You didn't put up the money for this movie. So now they're like in a little bit of a fight with Warner Brothers, because they feel like, they're not getting, I mean, it makes sense. Like if I put up the money for the movie, and then,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then you turn around and you make a deal with Joy to distribute it, and I put up the money, and it's like, well, you can't say that you're going to put it on streaming, because how am I going to make my money back? So I get it, like from a business standpoint, I get, what the issue is. And so like, I don't think Dune is slated to come out until like maybe December or something this year. It's really late this year. So hopefully they figure out what they're gonna do. But that it brings up an interesting I guess conflict with releasing simultaneously in theaters and on streaming, because you look at it like, oh, it's a Warner Brothers movie, but there's so many other studios involved, and there are other people who are involved in getting that movie made and getting it out there. And the truth is, it's not going to bring in as much money as ticket sales,
Right.
Mulan was a highly anticipated movie. And I don't know how it...
That was like a litmus test. Like everybody was looking to see, because they weren't going to do Black Widow. They weren't going to do, because that's the next big one to come out. And everybody was like, so what are they going to do? And everybody was sitting on their hands like beta, like wondering what's going to happen, because again, this is unprecedented and nobody knows. And everybody pretty much had like this first, like Disney, like Disney Plus hadn't even been a year old yet. And what do you do with this? That was when I don't know what it did as far as numbers. I don't think it did as well, because then they said, oh, it'll be out for Christmas. So people were like, I'll just wait till Christmas.
Right, exactly.
I'll just wait till Christmas.
And they were charging another $30 on top of the price of of Disney Plus itself, right?
Yeah.
I'm not about to do that. Like, because that would be, I forget how much Disney Plus is. Also because
it was
my brothers. So
5 now. You have a benefactor. You don't have to.
I have a benefactor.
It was $5. Now it's $6, which still, for the price of everything you're getting, that's still incredible. What was it? They said that when you paid for it, that you got it for the entire time that you have it. And everybody was like, oh, well, people were still like kind of hemming and hawing, but it was like, oh, that's actually not bad, because you have it for the whole time. But then I think maybe like a month or so later, they said, oh, it'll be out on Christmas. And everybody was like, I'll just wait for Christmas. I'll just wait.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing that's difficult about figuring out that model, because even for me personally, if I'm paying for the platform and then you're telling me, okay, pay this extra $30 or whatever it was, to get the movie, and you have the movie as long as you have the streaming service. Now I buy a movie, I get the movie. I don't need to have all this extra stuff in order to watch the movie. Like, so now I have to pay for your streaming service to watch something that I bought. So I don't know. It's interesting because it's also a generational thing too, right? Because I feel like, we didn't come up in an era of doing that where, you bought the thing was yours. There wasn't
you had it in your hand, like it was there.
Right.
Now,
right. And now there's this big fight over ownership. And you could even look back at like when Sony kind of revised their user agreement to say you didn't actually own the PlayStation. You were renting it or whatever, and we come from, you buy the thing, it's yours.
And that's it, like outright.
and
Like
that's
you
it.
walk out the store with it. That's yours. But with
But there's
streaming
a
and digital,
right. But there's a whole generation of people who are growing up in an era of no, you don't actually own it, and that kind of shapes your perception of, do you actually own
mm-hmm.
the thing or not? Like if you grow up with the, I guess, with the mentality that they're telling you, okay, you don't actually own it, you're kind of renting it, then you think that that's just how it's supposed to be. But we come from, you buy the thing, you own it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I guess it's a little bit harder to convert certain people to that model when you're telling them you have to pay for the streaming service in order to access something that you bought.
Yeah, because I know that like even like on with the whole digital and streaming stuff like that, like when you look at on demand, it's a similar thing. You can rent it or you can buy it. Okay, well, what if I don't want cable anymore? Then you ain't got it. Or you might possibly, well, what they started doing now? A lot of them, they've started using, which is actually very smart. They've started using like I have Verizon. When you buy a movie, a lot of them you can actually put onto what is one of like those codes that you get when you buy a movie, and then you can
Oh,
play it
like
on your
Movie
Apple App.
Anywhere? Like the
Yeah,
Movie Anywhere code?
yes.
Okay.
So that kind of is cool because at least then you still have it because it's in your cloud. You have it. Where yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what they do as far as, I mean, Disney, yeah, it once you're done, but but that's the thing about Disney. They're so damn confident. They're like,
Yep.
you ain't going nowhere because again, the
Yeah.
service is only $6.
Yeah.
Netflix is what, 15 now?
So Netflix went up too. If you want, I think their highest tier is like 20 now or close to it.
This is how I am. I didn't even know they had other tiers because my tiers are only two. I didn't even know about them other tiers. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. It's just me watching. It's cool, but you know what I mean. But even something like that, like they know, they're like, you're not going anywhere because within a year, but within maybe what 6-7 months or stuff like that. I think Michael was saying they had like over 1 million subscribers. Over 1 million, and it just got ramped up because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And your kids are home, they want something to watch, and a lot of people who were getting Mulan were getting it for their kids.
Yeah.
The next one that they have coming out is Raya.
Which looks excellent.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, I might have to risk it. I might have to off this one, bet money. I might have to, but there's no really right answer for it. There isn't. This is unprecedented. Nobody knows. Everything's a litmus test.
Right.
I like what Warner Brothers is doing with HBO, but it's because it benefits me. So I'm not really looking at it objectively. I'm be honest with you. I'm not, because it benefits me because I can be safe at home. I can watch it right on my home. I can watch it on my phone if I want. I can watch on my tablet. I don't have to go into a theater. And it's with the cost. You get it for 30 days, what have you. Like, I think yesterday they premiered Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they said every week they're going to do it. But then you look at something like Netflix. Netflix was ahead of its time, obviously. Netflix said now that they were going to release a movie every week for I don't know how long. Like every week there was going to be a new movie. And they're constantly doing content. They're constantly putting stuff out there.
Oh yeah. Netflix is doing so much content. You just get buried in content. Like you don't even.
Yeah. I honestly think that they stopped putting that cap on the queue because at a certain point, like you couldn't add anything to your queue anymore. I think they got rid of it because there's so much content that they're putting out and that they're getting back, and that they have out there. And I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not, because I like what they're putting out. Their animes or movies, what have you. And during the summer, we had every summer you have blockbuster movies. You know what I mean? You have the superhero movies. Well, this is the first summer in decades that we haven't had a blockbuster summer, but Netflix delivered at home two of my favorite movies, Extraction and The Old Guard.
The Old Guard, I haven't seen Extraction yet, but The Old Guard I really liked.
Those two movies killed it, and I was like, they gave us that because those would have been like your kind of maybe B plus summer movies in theater. But I was glad that I got to watch them because it was different. It was something fun. And you know what? It was kind of good that we didn't get Marvel, because we've had Marvel, and that's not like trying to be funny or put shade on Marvel, but we needed to have a bit of a breather because there's a lot of Marvel. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Marvel.
Yeah.
But we got to just have something different, and we got to open our eyes a little bit more. And then when we did get Marvel, because we hadn't had a Marvel project in like a year, when we did get
Yeah.
Marvel with WandaVision, we were all like, and it was overdone. Like
Yeah.
it was things didn't release at the times they were supposed to, obviously, but it was the right place, the right time, and it felt good. And I had a rant about the fandom and how they were talking about the movie, because everyone thinks they're so damn smart. Because that's
About which movie?
no about WandaVision.
Oh, about
Ev-
WandaVision.
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone. Well, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of the geekdom, it's very snarky, and everyone wants to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly men. Um, Y'all already know that I'm gonna talk shit about men. I don't know. It's not even talking shit. It's just saying something that's true. And a lot of them were like, "Oh, the first movies that Dave Lynchy and everything like that, what have you." And I was like, "Okay, it's a TV show, and you understand it. That's great. Calm down." Some people don't have the capacity for whatever reason to comprehend certain stories. So if someone says,
Mm-hmm.
"I don't get it. I don't like it," stop. Just it's not like that's a form of gatekeeping. Then when episode 4 came out and it focused on Monica Rambeau,
Mm-hmm.
and people were like, "Oh wow, this is great," and everybody was like, "Oh, so you had to be spoon fed?" I'm like, "Okay, again, wait a second, hold down, sit down.
What?
Here's a couple of things. One, 10 plus years, over 20 movies, MCU, Marvel DC has conditioned those fans who don't know the comics to expect this type of thing. Origin, possibly witty banter, conflict, big fight at the end credits. That's what they've been conditioned for over 20 something
Mm-hmm.
movies. So now there's an episode that's after the blip, seconds after the blip, and people are understanding it and they're getting it. Don't be mad at them, because that's what they've been conditioned. People said, "Oh, well, people don't know how to watch TV anymore." I was like, "Okay, again, shut up." How you watch television has evolved,
Mm-hmm.
because now everything is binge worthy. Where this you have to watch week to week. That's okay because they recap, but don't talk down to people because that's how they feel. Then they're like, "Oh, well, they had to be spoon fed." Again, okay, shut up. This is an episode that focuses on a black character, one of the most powerful black characters in the MCU. Let's not be um, uh, stupid about it. And also the fact that it focuses on a black woman who has just returned to life after 5 years of not existing. She finds out in the manner of 2 minutes that her mother has died. She's been gone for
Mm-hmm.
5 years. She
Mm-hmm.
is reappears in the most chaotic place possible, a hospital where everyone is coming back. People who when they were blipped were possibly in surgery, or possibly with a loved one. There's so many different things, and she has to figure out what's going on. She just found out her mother died 5 years ago. She's only been back for like 3 minutes.
Right.
And it focuses
Exactly.
on a black woman, and people identify with that, and it's more in the continuity of what they know from the MCU. So you should probably just calm down. Some people
Yeah.
don't, like, they think that because they're so, "Oh, well, I'm like, yeah, but they made the movie and you're sitting at home typing on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the one that won here? Just
Right.
calm down and say it's that.
Yeah. So two things. So there's, I guess we could talk about fan reactions to stuff and the toxicness of fandom, and
Yeah,
also WandaVision.
yeah.
So with fandom, right? I don't see personally, I don't have a problem with people not liking something I like. Conversely, sometimes I don't like things that other people like. I'll be real
Hmm.
with you. I wasn't really feeling Wonder Woman 2. But I also don't think that you have to I don't think that if somebody enjoyed something that you didn't enjoy, let people like things, let people enjoy things. Like
Thank you.
someone on the topic of Wonder Woman, just because it was so divisive, and I was like, why is this even why
An
is this
issue.
even happening?
Hmm.
I had my personal reasons for, like, in terms of like storytelling stuff, but at the end of the day, there were people who got something out of it,
Hmm.
and I didn't. It's like, okay, like you like things, you like things. Let people like things, let people enjoy things. Some people watch the movie and they're looking at something else is jumping out at them that grabs them, that makes them like the movie, that maybe didn't grab you.
Exactly.
There are things that I've liked that other people didn't like. There are things that I don't like that other people like. And the bottom line is, when did people lose the ability to just have a conversation about something and not take it so personally that, it's like, it's not understand, like, I know we all love these characters. I know we all fall in love with comics and movies and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it is not like, it's almost like you're insulting a person's identity if you didn't like something they like, or you're insulting a person's identity if you liked something that they didn't like. And people have to stop attaching it so personally to who they are and realize at the end of the day, we're watching a movie and we're watching a TV series and we're reading comic books, and we can have healthy discussions about these things without it devolving into, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, you don't understand, you don't, and it's dumb. Like, you and I have talked about things where you love something and I didn't really like it, or vice versa. And I listen to what you have to say. I listen to what you have to say, because you might actually like have a point and point out something that I didn't see when I was reading it or whatever. And sometimes there will be things that like, oh, I really like this story. You're like, oh, I wasn't feeling the way they did this character or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of true. That's kind of true. And it'll make me look at it differently. Conversely, like, I'm sure we've talked about things where, maybe hopefully, in our conversation, I might have made you look at something differently than you did before. So, and that is a healthy conversation. That's a healthy conversation. So all this like shutting people down because they didn't like something that you liked, or shutting them down because they liked something that you didn't like, is so stupid. Like, you guys need to calm down and be able to have a conversation about things without it devolving into like, I don't know, everybody's scrapping now. And we got it right. We got the direction right. You pointed in the right direction.
It took me 10 minutes to focus. Are you serious? I'm like, I don't, which. What Takeia just said. I don't know what else to tell you, folks. I honestly don't. I honestly don't.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just.
So, yeah, let's just be able to, you know what it is? I feel like people need to have these conversations over food. I feel like food makes everything better. Food makes everything better. I mean, because you're not about to start fighting with somebody when you got some good chicken and waffles in front of your face. You go to Melvin's.
You can't be like, well, I like Wonder Woman.
Like, what? I can't.
What? You can't be mad at what? Let me get another piece. Wait, what? Is that strawberry butter? Look, what?
Exactly.
What'd you say?
Exactly.
You can't. But people,
you can't be mad. You can't be mad. So, all that to say, back to WandaVision. Right. Like you were saying, we have a Black woman. We have, and not only I would encourage anybody to read about the history of Monica Rambeau. As a matter of fact, there was a YouTube video I just watched recently, and I wish I could remember the name of it. I might give it to you so you could maybe link it.
Is it Comics Explained?
Yeah, I think it was. And he was explaining the history of Monica Rambeau, and Marvel did some really messed up stuff. So think about it. It seemed like actually, if you watch that video, and there might be some people who know more nuanced stuff about her history. But after I watched that video, I was like, Monica was treated better in the beginning of her creation than she was later on, which is wild considering when she was created.
Exactly. She's one of those. It's just. So I had that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move on. I'll be honest with you, because I just started thinking about it again.
Right. So I didn't want to focus it on that, but I would encourage anybody to go look at that and then watch WandaVision, and I feel like you'll have a different perspective of how her character is treated, because I feel like they've given her agency.
Yes.
And she is also doing something which I love in writing. She is actually moving the plot forward. She is not a bystander and things are not happening to her. She is taking what happened to her mom and the fact that, like you said, she woke up after 5 years and all of this chaos and her mom is gone and she's lost the person who was most important to her. And she's using that to find some sort of sympathy with what Wanda is going through, some sort of compassion for what Wanda is going through. And that to me is good character development. And so, no, people don't need to be spoon-fed things. It's called character development. Yeah. That's why you have a whole episode dedicated to one character. Just like, you know, did you see the last episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about that later.
Oh, we're going to talk about that later?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I won't go there. But but it's just good character development, and people don't need to be spoon-fed. It's just, you know, and I can understand if WandaVision isn't for you, because I've heard comments that it's too weird for certain people, like, and that's fine. Like, maybe that's just not what you like, you know? I kind of enjoy the weirdness of it. I like the way that they approached, you know, how she's falling apart a little bit inside. And I like the way that they approached it. For some people, it's a little bit too out there, and that's fine. That's just not your cup of tea, and that's fine. But if it is somebody else's cup of tea, that's also fine.
And this is my cup of tea, so we're going to... Bet. So, moving on to the next one. We got the trailer for Master, the animated movie. I hadn't had a chance to watch it, but it was in our group chat. So I watched it yesterday, and I was like, wait, what? I watched it like 3 times. I was like, okay, so I need this like on my TV next week. Oh my God, yes. Okay,
I haven't seen that trailer, but you're going to laugh at me, right? You're going to laugh at me. When you sent me the list, and you said Master, I like looked it up and I watched a trailer for a completely different thing.
Yes, something did come up different when I saw the well, you know what? Shanae put it. I want to say Shanae put the link in our group chat. I want to say. So yeah, there was something that I looked up and I was like, that's not it. So I had to look up like Master and trailer and go through like a whole, like I think like 30 things I saw, and I was like, okay, bet. I watched it and I was like, oh, animated feature with young Black woman training in like a gym in a basement kind of a thing, like fighting. And then I'm not gonna ruin it for you. I'm not, but it's by the end, I think it's maybe like 2 or 3 minutes.
Wait a second. Is this the one with the Black girl?
Yes.
Okay, so I did see that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I did see that one. Yes.
I need this on my TV like tonight.
You're right, because I put it in the group chat. This is so funny, Antonio, because I put it in our group chat, and then when you sent it to me, I'm like, what is he talking about? And now when you were describing, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that one is dope.
I saw the fight and I was like, wait, well, her training, I was like, all right, and then the electricity, and I'm like, oh wait, what's happening? And then the sparking in her eyes when she turns around, I was like, I want this so bad. And this is from, I'm trying to remember the company that did it. I want to say something streaming. It looks so dope. I watched it like 3 or 4 times. I was like, yo, this is what, like that gets goose. We never would have gotten this like 5 years ago. We would not have gotten something like that. We would not have gotten something as beautiful as this 5 years ago.
Isn't the one of the people who executive produced Into the Spider-Verse, I think, is producing this?
Yes.
And it kind of has that like similar look as far as like the animation style too.
It does.
So I really like that.
It is Steamroller Studios. Steamroller Studios is who did. So if you're looking it up, look under Master Official Trailer. It's like 1:30. I thought it was longer. It just maybe because I just kept watching the damn thing. But when she starts punching the movement, when she hits the her training dummy and like the impact of her hand on the wood, and when you see like the little like impact, kind of like it's like an air puff, you know, like the animated. I want this on my TV by tonight. I'll pay whoever. I mean, but I ain't got a lot of money, so like the most I can give you is like $50. If you can put it on now, I'm good. It just it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go on streaming TV news. Paramount, excuse me. Paramount is set to release movies 45 days after theatrical release. This kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier. So movies like I think like James Bond, so they'll be in theaters. Then 45 days later, they're going to be on the streaming service. This is interesting. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. There isn't. Everybody's going to try a different business model, and whichever one works out better, they're going to do. Or people are going to try to maybe tweak it a little bit. I don't know.
Are we at peak saturation with streaming services though?
We've been at peak. We've been at peak for a while.
I feel like HBO Max kind of was able to squeeze in there just because it's HBO, and HBO has great original content. But I think so. It was Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Hulu. Disney came in, and Disney is definitely, I would say, one of the bigger ones. Oh, yeah. But it seems like with every streaming service that comes out, their reach is going to get a little bit weaker because, I don't know about everyone's attitude, but every time another streaming service comes out, I'm like, another thing, like I got to pay for another thing. Yeah. So, and then all this content is being divided.
I think, what they're doing, because Paramount is CBS Access.
Yeah, so they're gonna be rolled into Paramount, or they're gonna become Paramount. Okay.
CBS is gonna be rebranded on March 4th, and they're gonna come out as Paramount Plus. So that's gonna be one service. WWE has their platform, but they're actually gonna be a part of Peacock now. Okay. So you're gonna start seeing some are gonna swallow some up.
Gotcha.
But then you still have free ones like Crackle and Tubi. Which are still out there that nobody really talks about, but they're under the radar, putting out content like, we're good. We're good. But there are a lot of streaming services, and to see them starting to swallow people up, when everything started happening, obviously streaming services, I'm not gonna lie, if I could do a streaming service, I would. I'm like five push-ups and 10 sit-ups away from doing OnlyFans. So I can't say for real. Like I can't say
you should start your own streaming service and your own social media app.
For real. But there are so many of them. I mean, I can't get mad because it's easier. You're at home, you're everything like that. And it's also a thing of, I'm one that's like, look, I don't want it, I don't need it, I'm good. And at a certain point, I kind of do get one, then I take one away. There, like HBO Max, I was like, I'm not paying that money. I'm not. Then I realized I could have it because I have HBO, which is something that they never actually said. The marketing that they did for HBO Max was horrible. They focused on Friends. Hey, we're gonna have Friends. I don't give a shit. I don't
care.
But then when seeing that as
Crunchyroll, white living single.
Get out of my head. For real though. But it and I was like, okay, so I got it and I was checking it out. And then when I saw that it would be replacing DC Universe as far as streaming app, I was like, okay, cool, because DC Universe was horrible because you couldn't get it on your PlayStation 4. So I had to watch it on my phone or my tablet. And then I started seeing the things that they had on there. The original programming they have on there is incredible. They have really great stuff on there. They're starting to bring on some of their Cinemax shows like Warrior and Banshee, which are two of my favorite series, honestly. They're funny, they're well acted. They have incredible fight scenes. Their fight choreography is incredible. Hopefully they're going to bring in Strike Back as well, which is another Cinemax show. And then they started adding like more anime with Crunchyroll. They added in Jujutsu Kaisen and God of High School, which became huge on Webtoons. And I'm a huge God of High School fan as far as the anime. So I'm reading the comments.
That's a great anime. I'm so glad you told me to watch that because it was so good. And I've been wanting to watch something that really grabbed me for a while. So
and that honestly does. I mean, from the opening, from Contradiction, I was like, best. That's my new ringtone. Okay, you can't tell me nothing. And then seeing the fighting and everything like that, and how it was that tournament style but different, and it was a bit of a different animation. And I think it's because it's supposed to be based in Korea, so it's a different animation than you would get from your Japanese anime, which I like. But they just marketed it all wrong. But there, there are a lot of streaming services. And Paramount also had the fact that they were going to be doing, that they were going to develop Avatar: The Last Airbender spinoffs.
Yeah.
Look, there have only been two
that's going to be
series,
their draw. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's as far as kids and adults, because adults, we're still watching this. How many people lost their minds when Avatar finally came to Netflix? People were like, so I'm going to just take off work for a week. I know it's next week, but I don't know if y'all realize, but I'm not coming to work next week. I'm just not coming to work. I mean, I got time, I'm saying. And it was just, that's a huge thing. I'm really happy that they're going to do that. It's an amazing, great story. I want to see where they're going to go, what characters they're going to develop, what eras they're going to make it in also.
Right.
I'm excited by it.
So let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Because I know Netflix has a deal with Nickelodeon where they're showing a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. Is there anything about the Paramount Avatar stuff coming to Nickelodeon at some point? I mean, not to Nickelodeon. I'm sorry, to Netflix at some point. No,
I don't think so, because it might just be like their original content. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so it might be something that just stays with them. I mean, it's still a new story. I would love to read up more on it, but this is interesting. I'm, like I said, I'm excited for as much, again, a lot of content, but I'm excited to see new content. I'm excited to see what else happens going on. And Avatar is like one of the most beloved series.
Yeah. And one I think no one expected to become as iconic as it did. When it first came out, and so good. I wonder what is going on with the live action one. I know the creators left the Netflix one over creative differences or whatever, but is that still happening? Did they shelve it?
I haven't heard anything about it, which is interesting because if they went to Paramount, what are we going to get from them? Because the ones that I think it was one or two of the people that helped to develop Avatar, helps develop and or create, the Dragon Prince. Which is, I love that series.
That's such a good series.
It's incredible. It's so great, and it's 3 seasons. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's the same kind of humor. So funny, great. So that's an interesting thing. So I had totally forgotten about this, the live action series. I'll be honest with you, because they put on the live action movie, and I was like, so you should take like $3 off my bill every month if you put that on there. I haven't even seen it, but I know I've seen like just clips, and I'm like, that doesn't. I'm good. I'm good. Just do like a sequel to another movie, M Night. This wasn't it for you.
That wasn't it. That wasn't it.
As far as Netflix goes, they're going to be getting, they're going to have a second season of Be the Beginning.
Okay.
I love this series, anime. When I was in the hospital, I couldn't really, like, my cognitive abilities were all out the window, but I had my phone. So I would try to watch this because when it came out, I was in the hospital. So I'll try to watch it. And I really enjoyed it, but I could only watch up to episode 3 because I just couldn't comprehend anything right there. But I loved it. When I finally watched the whole series, I was like, wow, it's been 2 years. It's been about 2 years since the last season. And they're coming out with the new one March 18th. It starts out as like a serial killer thing. Then it goes into supernatural. You don't know if they're angels or demons or possibly homunculi. You're not sure. And it's just crazy, and it has like a lot of like humor in it as well. The lead person, who's supposed to be like a profiler and investigator, is brilliant, but is shit. Just shit. And it's very funny. But like I said, it's got a mix of stuff going on, and it's one of their animes. What, like, Netflix said that they were going to put out a lot of original anime, and they have not lied.
No,
they really haven't.
I don't think Netflix is lying about content because they know that that's how they're going to have to survive now. Netflix has changed their business model like 3 times.
For real. But you know what? They're evolving and forcing everyone else to change up, which is what, because everybody's trying to keep up with them.
Right. And that's what I like. That's why I don't, what we were talking about before, I don't mind movies and stuff coming to streaming. I know there was like at one point there was this big debate over, and this was before the pandemic, over whether or not stuff that's on Netflix should actually be winning movie awards and stuff like that. Remember Steven Spielberg had that big problem with
Roma.
Roma. And he said it's a made for TV movie, and I was like, what? He was trying to say that it shouldn't have, it should be nominated for like an Emmy, not an Oscar.
Right.
And the thing that I think some of the directors who have that viewpoint miss is that for those of us who Hollywood has not accepted, streaming is kind of a godsend because you're getting content made by people of color. And in Netflix's case, people around the world, not just here in the States. And you're getting such a variety of content rather from different cultures and stuff that you otherwise would not see in Hollywood. The 13th would have never been made. They would have never done that. They would have never done it.
Or it would have been on PBS and nobody would have watched it.
Exactly. So, the world's changing, man. You got to change with it.
Exactly. But I'm wondering how he would have felt if it was The Irishman. Right.
Exactly.
What that long ass movie. Lord, God damn. Anubis wept. Jeez. Long as hell, bro. I watched it and I was like they didn't age. I did. I was like, this don't make no sense. How am I older than Joe Pesci? This is on some bullshit.
And that's saying a lot because whenever you bring up you aging.
We're not going to talk about that right now. We're not going to talk about that right now.
I'm not going to do it to you.
When we go to Melba's, then you can talk about my age. That's fine. That's fine.
But you're right. I actually was like, all right, I guess I gotta watch The Irishman. But everybody kept telling me how long it was, and it just sat there, and I just never got around to it.
I think
that's one of those movies you got to start in the morning. You got to start it in the morning so you don't feel like you wasted your day.
No. It's worse because you'll stop, you'll go do your stuff, and you won't go back to it. You will not. Don't, because that happened to me. I started in the morning. I didn't go back to it for like 2 days. I had to start like at night, like around like maybe 4 o'clock, and then I finished and I was like, okay, and I was like, all right, okay. I started at 4 o'clock, and next thing I know, it was Christmas. I said, this is bullshit. This movie shouldn't be this long. How is this possible? It was just I mean, it was just grandstanding and just, hey, let me try out this new medium and everything. It was just grandstanding. It really was. I mean, you know what? Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, obviously incredible actors.
Yeah.
Masters of their craft, but I didn't need like 4 hours of that, man. I honestly didn't. Be real with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot to dig into there, and we can, but it's like the bottom line is things are changing. You can see it. Like streaming is still trying to figure out what it's going to be, especially in this pandemic. Yep. So, just roll with the punches, I guess.
Yeah, and then it's always evolving. Speaking of rolling with punches, Netflix also has an anime called High Rise Invasions. Invasion. Okay, I'm going to say this because I always like to give people warning beforehand. Trigger warning because there is assault. There are in the 20 minutes I watched, there are probably 3 or 4 suicides.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, the premise of the anime is people wake up and they're trapped on these rooftops of high-rise buildings, and the buildings are connected by these rope ladders. and they'll have fences, and there will be a sign in, like, there will be an opening in some of the fences that'll say exit, and then you just fall off. People in masks go up on the rooftops, and you can't go down. Like, if you go down to the next floor, there will be a huge barricade that'll say you cannot go down. So you have to stay up on these rooftops. People in masks come up and they try to kill you. But their purpose is to try to make you commit suicide.
This sounds like a really heavy and dark anime.
I was watching and I was like, "What this is not what I expected at all." The design for it looks incredible. The character design, the idea is very innovative. But it is very dark. It is, and it can be extremely triggering because when they show someone like just dropping off of the other roof, they'll show them fall and they'll show their head like this close from the ground, then they'll turn away. So, like I said, it can be very triggering. The sexual violence can be triggering also. I've decoded what I don't know what the standards and practices, I think is what they are. The people who do the scriptures. I've decoded what they do with their language. Again, trigger warning for anyone who has traumatic situations such like that, what have you. As always, I want to make sure that you know what's out there before you go and watch it, and then you end up just not feeling well. When there's when it says sexual violence, it's someone using violence to attempt to rape, and then the person who is the rapist ends up getting killed or shot by someone else. I have researched this. One of the things I've watched, when it says rape, then someone is sexually assaulted. So this one, there is someone who is about to be raped. I apologize. I'm very uncomfortable even talking about this, but again, I want people to know what is there. So yeah, within, I want to say 10 minutes, someone actually tries to go after this young girl when she wakes up and she's on the rooftop, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. She starts figuring out what's going on. And you're not the only person. There are other people on the rooftops as well. That's why they have the connecting rope bridges. And you have people that are masks, and you can go after them and kill them. But I don't know what happens after that, because I tapped out after 20 minutes. I was like, I'm tapping out. This is too much. And I'm not triggered by a lot, but what does trigger me, I go, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna. And this one was just, again, I was excited to watch because the idea seems really cool. But then when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm tapping out. Again, if this is something that you would like to watch, fair warning. Again, trigger warning for suicide, sexual violence, sexual assault in the series, and violence and gore, obviously. But two bigger things that might trigger people are suicide and the sexual violence, sexual assault. Yeah, on that one. That's all I actually have to say about that one, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm done. It was it's a heady trip. And I was like, wow, they really, and it does hit you, but it might hit some people in the wrong way. Tom and Jerry premiered on wow, they have to follow that description I just gave of Jesus.
With
wow.
Tom and Jerry.
So sorry to this iconic cartoon. Jeez. What the hell? Yeah, so Tom and Jerry premiered on HBO Max yesterday, actually. Yeah, yesterday. So this is one of their movies that's going to be premiering like every week. So this is one of them. So I feel like every week, because I think the last one was The Little Things, I want to say, which I enjoyed. I like that one.
So many, like I said, so much to watch. I have not seen that either yet. That
was good. I like seeing Denzel act and him being older.
Oh yeah, that's the one with Rami Malek. I did.
Yep, it's Denzel, Rami Malek, and
Jared Leto is in it.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It was actually pretty good. Nice ending.
I just remembered. I did see it. I did like 2 weeks ago. I think.
Well, and it's also honestly it's something I wouldn't have watched in theaters, and
Yeah,
not anything, but when if I'm going to theaters, I'm going for like the big, box
right.
or what have you
Mm-hmm.
stuff, just because you want to see it there. But a movie like this, I like seeing it at home in the comfort of my own home, relaxing, because it was one of those dramas, thrillers that kind of played with you a little bit.
Right.
So I'm glad.
Plus, Denzel is, it had great actors in it too.
Yeah,
Denzel is
I
great.
mean,
Rami Malik is great.
just also Jared Leto, like he likes to transform himself and look
Mm-hmm.
in his role. Like he's that character actor, which is great. Um, I,
Mm-hmm.
I love that Denzel. Seeing him, I love seeing him be older Denzel and acting,
Yeah.
because for a long time he was a great actor, but everyone looked at him still as being like this handsome black man acting,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. They didn't take him. I mean, they took him seriously, but they always wanted him to have his shirt off.
Right.
It was always
Right.
some, and I'm not mad at you for looking at Denzel, because Denzel's a good looking man. I ain't mad at you at
Mm-hmm.
all. And when he starts with his bullshit, like, you know what? I'll tell you something right now. When he starts that whole, the ring nose,
Yep.
like, oh, oh, okay, all right, okay. But that whole thing, I'm digging it. But yeah, definitely. So, I mean, Tom and Jerry, something light, something different. Go check it out. It looks like it's going to be actually pretty funny. It looks like it looks pretty funny, just because of more updated, more, because it's from, I want to say, last year or this year. So check it out. Something different, something nice, light, and fluffy that you can watch with your kids or by yourself or whatever, however you get down. Have a date over, make some waffles, and watch this on whatever the fuck you want to do. Banshee is on HBO Max. This was a Cinemax show, but since HBO owns Cinemax, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess Warner Brothers, I should say.
Yeah.
Basic plot of this: it's 4 seasons. This is from the guy who actually helped create and developed Warrior. Man escapes prison, uh, goes into a town called Banshee, Pennsylvania. It's like an Amish village, like kind of town, or borders on an Amish community. Goes into a bar to have a drink and something to eat. Meets this sheriff who's about to go into the town of Banshee and be the sheriff, what have you. There's a fight that
Mm-hmm.
breaks out. The sheriff is killed. The the escaped convict, who you never hear his name, takes on the identity of the sheriff Lucas Hood. And from that point on, it is ridiculous. He makes the worst decisions possible in life. And every episode, you're like, how is this guy going to get through this episode? He makes the worst decision in life. Great story. Love the cast. Anthony Starr, who is Homelander
Mm-hmm.
on
Oh,
The
okay.
Boys, he plays the lead. This was the first role that I knew him from. He
Okay.
plays the lead. Phenomenal job. Totally different from Homelander. I mean, obviously, he's just a guy who's screwed up. He's trying to do the best that he
Mm-hmm.
can, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't for him. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of fighting, action, um, uh, some blood and gore because of the fight scenes. If you've seen Warrior, then you know what I'm talking about. But this is also part of HBO Max. So I would say watch this if you're looking for something that's just action packed and some dark humor.
I'll check that out because I've heard of Banshee, but I've never gotten a chance to see it.
Hmm.
So,
This is one of those shows where when I would work, or because this would come on Friday nights when I would work, it would be on my DVR, but I would
mhm.
still watch it live. I had to, because I was like, what is he going to do this week? And it's a similar thing with Warrior. Warrior's 2 seasons, I think 10 episodes maybe each season. Warrior is beautifully done. So, oh my God, amazing. From the writings of Bruce Lee, and the way it shows uh, how Chinese Americans were treated on the West Coast, and it still mixes in
Mm.
the action, everything like that, and how they have different gangs and such like that, and how they have different sections of Chinatown, and how they deal with the white community as well as part of the town. It's really, yeah, that's some deep shit there. And then on Amazon we have Invincible trailer. Talked about this comic numerous times. Beautiful
Ooh,
trailer.
that trailer looks so good,
Hmm.
so good. I'm definitely going to be watching that.
Have you read the comic? I don't remember if we talked about that. Have you read it?
I have not read. I've read, I think, maybe the first two or three trades,
Okay,
but I
okay.
haven't read the whole thing. It had a pretty long run, didn't it?
22 trades, I want to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna have to pick up, I guess, that omnibus, the big,
Facts.
the
Well,
tome.
well, you know what? I want to say it should be on sale on Skybound's website if you're
Okay.
looking for the print.
Mm-hmm.
Comixology has, I think, the first 6 or 7 trades as part of their Comixology Unlimited.
Okay. Cool.
And you know how Comixology gets down because you know I do my research. So when the
Mm-hmm.
series drops, there will be a sale.
Oh yeah, there will be a sale.
I know it. I bet my life on it. I will bet I know there's going to be a sale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is just one of those comics that starts out as a superhero, becomes like a slice of life, but still has this incredible stories. It may look like a kids comic kind of a thing, but it is mature rated for blood, gore, intense violence. Think of if Superman didn't hold back. That's basically it. If he was in these fights that he didn't hold back, but it looks Steve Ewan.
Steve Wynn, I think is how you say his name.
Oh, is it Wynn? Yeah.
Yeah.
From
No,
The
sorry,
Walking Dead.
Yoon. I think it's
Ewan?
Yoon.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
From The Walking Dead, he played
Yeah.
the hell was the character's name? Glenn?
Yeah.
Glenn,
Yeah, Glenn from Walking Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, from Walking Dead. J.K.
Love him.
Simmons. Yeah, he's also, and seeing this is perfect. People were saying, "Oh, you know what? Whenever I looked at the character of Mark Grayson, I want to say his name is, who is the lead character of Invincible, they always saw him as being half Asian.
Mm-hmm.
I never paid attention to it. I'll be honest with you.
That's what I thought from his design.
I'd never even thought about it. Because whenever I saw him, I always saw him as in the costume. I never even looked at him like. But then when people started talking about it, and I went back and I was looking, I was like, shit, yeah. And in the animation, they I want to say to make a point of it.
I'm glad.
Which is beautiful. And Sandra Oh, I want to say, is the voice of his mother.
Okay. Love her too.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons is phenomenal. Some people might know him from Oz.
Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash.
Yeah, where he's just yelling the whole movie.
I was mad at that end when he was like, "Oh yes, gosh, yes, right,
yeah,"
and he was just sitting there like. I was like, "Why would you trust him, dude? Why?"
Yeah. I love J.K. Simmons though. He's so good.
He's so great. He can do humor, sinister, thriller. Like he's so versatile and everything.
He made me want to learn the drums the way he was yelling. I was like, dang, I need to learn it now.
No. He made me want to stay away from every instrument. I was like, no, I'm good.
Man, he made me feel like I had to learn it or else he was coming for me.
And I always see him in that black t-shirt too. I was just yelling at you. I was like, no. You'll also know him.
He was in I was gonna say that Showtime
Counterpart. No, that was Counterpart. That was Epics.
Epics, okay.
Yeah, Epics. Which is on Amazon Prime now.
Okay.
It's not on. You can't even you can't even watch it on on demand from Epics. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know what happened. Somebody got mad about something. I don't know. But yeah, check it out. Also read the comic. Like I said, it's great. Speaking of comics and comics news, the creative teams have been announced on the milestone titled Static, Hardware, and Icon. I was not really interested in Milestone too much when I saw what was going on as far as the people who kept talking about it. I was like, no offense to them. They are iconic. They are revered creators, but I was tired of the same old blood.
Mm-hmm.
They changed that. First name I saw was Vita Ayala. And I was like, wait, you have Vita Ayala on writing Static? They are writing Static? You now you have my attention. Now you have my attention. Kari Randolph and Amelia Lopez from Excellence.
The dream team right there.
Oh, they are the dynamic duo for real. Everything they touch is vibranium. Everything they touch is a vibranium. They're going to be doing the covers for Static, which is incredible. Let me look up the actual teams they have. Brandon Thomas is going to be doing hardware.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually writing that.
They have Nicholas Draper Ivy on Static as well as the artist, right? And Chris Cross, I think, is doing the layouts.
Yes. Yep.
And Vita Ayala, they're writing is phenomenal. So
I'm so happy they are, because I was like, I'm so tired of seeing this. Who have you got? And then, yeah, because Nicholas posted on IG about it, and I was like, oh, because he had kind of showed some designs. That everybody was like, oh, hope he's doing the designs for it. And I was like, all right, yeah, cool, what have you. And then when I saw that he had put up their name, and I saw Vida Ayala, I was like, okay, bet. And I didn't realize it's going to be digital only. It's going to be through DC Infinite, but also Comixology. So it'll be just digital only. I don't know if they're going to be doing print at some point. I don't know. Okay, so for Static, it's going to be Vida Ayala, art by Chris Cross and Nicholas Draper Ivy, covers by Kyrie Randolph and Emilio Lopez. Icon and Rocket. It's going to be Icon and Rocket. So excuse me for putting just Icons, Icon and Rocket, which that says a lot too.
Yeah,
that says a lot because it was her story. She was telling that story.
Yeah.
This is going to be written by Reginald Hudland and Leon Chills. Damn, that's a cool last name, Chills.
Yeah, Chills. What?
That's a badass last name. Holy cow! Art by Doug Braithwaite and covers by Torrin Clark. That's going to be also, so Static is going to be dropping in April of 2021. Icon and Rock is going to be dropping June 2021. And then we have Hardware, which is going to be written by Brandon Thomas. Y'all already know. Cats, yeah, it's Brandon Thomas.
Yeah.
Art by Dennis Cowan and Bill Sinkwinitz. I always butcher his name. Sinkwinitz? Yeah, we'll come back to that. And covers by Mateus Mahanini. That's going to be dropping in August of 2021. So those are the first three titles. We'll see what's going on. The actual this dropped yesterday. I didn't even know, because DC, since the pandemic, they've changed their whole distribution thing. They do digitals they do their digital only, like Truth and Justice. They do them on Fridays.
Okay.
And this dropped on Friday, Milestone Returns, which, yeah, there we go. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
See it. Nope, there we go. Yep, that whole reverse angle. So this dropped. This is the Milestone Returns Infinite Edition 0. This shows like the Big Bang, and it shows some of the designs. It tells you more about the characters. It's an actual story. This is, I want to say, written by Reginald Hudland, and then the art is a mix of artists that are working on the series, that are working on some of the series now, and some that I guess he just wanted to have in there. This is exciting.
Yeah. I mean, because you, like you said, you're getting fresh names on there, and names that we already know. Their work is phenomenal. So,
and
so yeah,
we needed more non-binary, gender fluid, queer people doing these big spotlighted projects. So I want to see who else they have working on these projects for that, because Vida Ayala, sign me up. I was like, all right, if it comes back, it comes back, whatever. Saw their name, I was like, okay, cool, bet. All right. The minute I saw their name, I bought that. I didn't even know it was out.
Yeah. I
bought it. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I Walk with Monsters, number 3. This is from Aftershock Comics. Are you familiar with this one?
I haven't read that yet. That's one of the ones you suggested to me, but I haven't read it yet. It's on the scroll. It's definitely on the scroll.
Yeah. The scroll becomes like a tome at a certain point because it's just too much.
Exactly.
Basic gist of this is a young girl and a man are traveling, and she actually offers herself up as bait for some of the worst child killers, murderers, pedophiles as well. And then her companion, this man, transforms into a monster and kills them.
Wow.
That's how I get down. And it tells her backstory, how she's looking for this man who took and possibly killed her brother. She doesn't know. And and it's just, and they show some of her backstory as far as like what her life was like as a child. Though that we haven't heard about his story yet, which I'm interested in hearing as well. This is issue 3. It's just that Aftershock is really ramping things up for me. They're one of those comics I'm really looking at. But yeah,
I Walk with Monsters is such a great title too. Now that you've explained
exactly
what it's about and everything, such a great title, man. You know how hard it is to pick a good title for your book?
Titles are very difficult to do. They're very like, and then when you have to name the arc as well,
right?
You know what I mean? It's very, so to come out with a title like that, and like there are going to be a couple of them that the titles are long, but you see why they're long, and they actually describe the story very well. Yeah, it works out very well, and the covers are beautiful, and the font, the lettering, everything like that. The design of the covers are incredible. I love them so much. They're beautiful things to see.
Yeah, some titles are just so great it makes you want to read the book. Like when you told me about this one, Something is Killing the Children is another one that made me want to pick it up because I'm like, what's killing them? I want to know.
Yeah, but with that title, there's no subtlety. It's what was this about? What?
Yeah, so, you know exactly what it's about.
What is this book about? Get out of my store. You can't get out of my store. Not dealing with this today. Not today.
Got all these questions.
For real. Next up, another great title from Aftershock Comics is Kaiju Score. The title on this one is a little shorter, but it pretty much points it out. This one, excuse me, it's a heist kind of vibe. You know, they're trying to rob this bank in Florida. But they rob it during kaiju season, where a kaiju comes out of the water in Florida, and this is like their time of year where they go to try and feed. So this mastermind actually develops the whole heist around this attack, but he always makes one mistake. There's always one detail that he forgets, or that he gets wrong, or that's a variable that he cannot control in all of his heists. He's brilliant. So he's kind of like Sherlock. You know how Sherlock can deduce 99.9999 everything, but there's always that one thing he gets wrong. It's like this. Okay. Funny, dark humor. If you enjoy heist stuff, which I do, think like Ocean's 11, Thief of Thieves. You know, you're gonna have that banter back and forth, that, you know, witty banter, what have you. You get this, and then you get a kaiju, and he actually has details. So you'll see like his notes, like this kaiju comes up, and he has them. He knows them by name, their height, size, mating season. He knows everything about them, but there's always something that he gets wrong. So he gets something wrong because it ends up being 2 kaiju that are like mortal enemies.
Oh, okay.
And there's this, and so he's got to figure out. So he has to try to actually turn the tide and figure out how to still do this heist, not get killed by the crime boss or his bodyguard, and also worry about his crew. I haven't read issue 4 yet because, yeah, life and everything else going on.
And so much to read.
But I did buy it because it's one of those ones that I actually have subscribed for it. This is Aftershock. Another one, the one that we were just talking about, Something is Killing the Children, number 15. 2 trades are out already. We read the first trade. Takeia actually recommended this one to me.
Yeah.
Buffy, but better.
Man. And just like, I don't know what it is lately, but I've been like really into horror comics.
Yes.
And I love a good horror comic. I love, and this is one that would translate so well to TV or to like streaming. Man, so good. So good.
I love that there's no like secret weapon or like holy weapon. I mean, there might be something down the line. I don't know, but there's no, you know, when she goes to kill a monster, she goes to the hardware store. Right. She's looking for like stuff. And I was like, all right, yeah, cool. All right, bet.
Yeah. Like that one scene where she was buying a chainsaw and knives and hammers, and the guy selling her the stuff was like, you're going to do a lot of work, huh?
Yeah. And she has this completely dry humor.
Exactly.
Erica Slaughter of the House of Slaughter, right? Is that the House of Slaughter?
Yeah.
The whole in the second volume arc, you start learning a little more about the society that she belongs to as far as these monster hunters. It kind of reminded me of John Wick
Mm-hmm.
when I was thinking about it, and how they have the different houses, and they all have these masks that they wear, that they pull up, like these
Yeah.
bandanas that they
And the
pull up.
masks are so dope.
They are. I want a
They're so good.
tee with that
Right.
design or something.
With
I
that
need.
right.
I need something is killing the kids merch. That sounds
Mm-hmm.
raw. That sounds
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah. I would wear that too. And then like
Yeah.
I just like to I guess from an artistic perspective, her
Mhm.
character design, because you feel the weight of everything on her in her design and in her
Mhm.
personality. The fact that she has like, kind of like bags under her eyes and stuff,
Yes.
and kind of like that dark, rim
Mhm.
around her eyes. And just the fact that she's always in that big jacket, she always has
Yeah.
that mask, and it kind of like it gives you the sense of a person who is trying to hide themselves behind all this stuff. And
Yeah.
it makes you more interested in her character. And just this is one of those books that I feel like everything just came together. The art came together, the writing
Yes.
came together, the character development came together, the mystery of it, the way the
Mm.
mystery of it unfolds. Because she has like this stuffed animal that she's talking to,
Yes.
and she's
Oh my
talking
god.
to it like they have beef.
For
She's
real.
talking to a stuffed animal like they have beef, and you're like, what the hell is this? And it just makes you want to find out what is going on with her in this thing. A stuffed animal,
Yeah.
something totally arbitrary.
And it's like this monster um hunting horror supernatural, but then you get
Hmm.
the small town element of it, and how it's like in I don't want to say the boonies, but the boonies, like a rustic area,
Hmm.
and it's not in the city. It's not like stylistic or what have you. But then when she
Yeah.
gets into the fight, like like you were saying, like she has the bags under her eyes. She looks like she's
Hmm.
tired. The big coat,
Hmm.
like the weight and heavy. But when she fights, she moves so fluently.
Yeah.
She moves like, and you don't expect her because of what she buys, even too, because she buys regular stuff. So you think she's just gonna be hacking and slashing when she's
Hmm.
fighting. The way she moves is so trained and stylistic and evasive, and a mix of so many things. Because I love studying like fight scenes, whether it's in movies or art, what have you. I love seeing the way
Right.
characters move and the way it happens, and it's like this flurry, and then it just stops and everything, and then it's back to her being weighted and
Hmm.
heavy and everything, and very dry humor,
Right.
but kind of not being humor because she's being serious.
Hmm.
And then again, she goes back into it. And when she takes off her jacket, you see these muscles and scars.
Yeah.
She's like very lean and
Yeah.
muscular. And
Hmm.
she goes in, and again, she's very, just, again, like you were saying, which is a huge point, very heavy and weight. And then she takes off the jacket, and she's in that hunter mode, and she's like all stanced and ready.
Hmm.
I love that mixing of things that you don't expect. And then when you see her movie, like when I saw her like fight, I was like, wait, whoa. I thought she was going to be like, with the chainsaw, like kind of
Yeah.
dodge it, like kind of, but
Hmm.
then you think about it, she's part of this society. They have to be
Yeah.
trained. They can't just be running in there willy-nilly and whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Again, fair warning, as the title said, something is killing the children. There is blood and gore. There are scenes where you will see something killing children, like a monster. I mean, I don't even know
Yeah.
how else to say it.
Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah,
It's
don't go
yeah.
into this thinking, oh, well, it's not going to be. No, it is blood. There's gore. There is
Hmm.
intense violence. There you will see corpses. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the scene. I don't know. But this is in the second trade, so I'm not going to say anything because you may not have gotten to that part yet.
Hmm.
But there's a scene that was very heartbreaking because you still see how people deal with the loss of their children and how they're mourning, and they're trying to figure out,
Hmm.
well, where are all these children at. And the first trade, you see, um, what is her quote unquote sidekick? Um,
Um,
the kid with the
the
glasses.
little kid, right?
Yeah.
Why can't I think of his name? I wrote it down. Hold on.
Is his name James?
James, I think so. Yeah.
I want to say,
Yeah,
yeah.
James.
Seeing him and how he deals with it and how he's trying to process it and how his guidance counselor talks to him.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you see that he isn't just dealing with this as well as puberty, but he's also dealing with the fact that he could be coming out.
Mm-hmm. Right. He has a crush
And
on a friend
yeah, so he could
and
be coming
doesn't
out as
really know how to
being,
handle it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as being gay, bi, or
Mm-hmm.
or pansexual. That element too, and how he's trying to navigate that along with these monsters, trying to figure out what's the secret with Erica,
Mm-hmm.
this monster, everything, what have you. There's a lot going on, but it blends so well.
And also, he's dealing with the fact that he kind of feels like what
Yes,
happened
yes,
to his friends is his fault. You
that
know, that
survivor's
weight
guilt.
of that. Yeah, that survivor's guilt. And
Yeah,
so all of the characters, even right down to, like you said, his principal, or his guidance counselor, principal,
want to say for some reason I thought it was his guidance counselor because of the way he was
guidance
talking to him,
counselor. Okay.
but it might be the
Okay.
principal because he was the one that talked to the sheriff and such. So it might be principal.
Right. But even the way that just through dialogue, the way that he talks, he has like a whole personality. You can tell like the weight of everything is on him
Mm-hmm.
too. All these children are disappearing and no one has any answers.
Yeah,
And he's just tired and he feels bad and he just wants to protect these kids, but he just doesn't know what to do because the whole situation seems so beyond him.
exactly.
And just, it's so good. Everybody should read it.
Yeah, it's definitely I could definitely see this being like a series easily, and just the way it feels, I can almost hear the music
Yeah.
like for it. So yeah, go check this out. The first two trades are out in print and digital. Yeah, go definitely check this out.
Yeah.
Next one is also from Boom. This is We Only Find Them When They're Dead. This is from Al
These
Ewing.
titles, man, I'm telling
For real.
you, these titles.
For real.
That's
This is
another
from,
one that's on the scroll right now.
like, Al Ewing. Well, this is the end of
Yeah.
the first arc.
Okay.
This is about like space mining, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll get like these teams that go out in space. They'll have like their ships, and they're mining. Well, not exactly mining. They're more autopsy ships. Well, kind of both. They're autopsy and mining ships because they're actually autopsying and mining gods.
What?
Huge gods, space gods, or
That's
what have you.
insane.
But you only find them when they're dead. That's the only time that you're actually able to see them.
Oh wow.
So the art is, oh my god, it's breathtaking, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The captain of the ship, and they're monitored. So you have to call sections just like you would doing if you were mining. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
section AB3, I have section AB2. You have to do that. So they'll go to their section, they'll get it. Sometimes they'll get like meat from them and they'll sell it, what have you. They'll freeze it like that. But they're monitored, so they can hear the chatter that you're saying over. You know what? Let me say more. Maybe not mining, but more salvaging,
Mm-hmm.
because they're dead. And then the captain has this plan. He says, I want to find one of these gods when they're alive.
Mm.
Because he's like, the fact that you only find them when they're dead doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
You see that storytelling, man? Right in the title. Right in the
And
title.
because
You
when
know, yeah.
I was like, because the covers are again breathtakingly beautiful, but you look at them and the titles across the whole cover,
Mm-hmm.
literally, and they did it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But they still give you this beautiful art on there along with the title, and that's his goal. And you find out about his family, and he has animosity with one of the, I want to say, security chiefs that like supervise the whole thing for the salvaging runs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out their history and why she hates him. You find out that the captain is also gay or bi,
Mm-hmm.
because of a sex scene,
Mm-hmm.
which I love that this is just coming into more and more comics and such like that,
Yeah.
and that you're seeing it in comics that are even like sci-fi oriented, such like that, just because people in space be having sex. People in space be having sex. So I don't know what y'all.
That sounds like it should be the title of another
For real.
comic. People in space
There,
should be
there.
having sex.
There's a comic called Money Shot. I will tell
I
you
need
about
to
it.
read that. I
Yes,
need to
thank
read
you.
that.
Yes,
That's on the
thank you.
list too. Oh
But
man.
I haven't read it, but I read the premise. And I was like, wait, what?
Mm.
And I found the book in Barnes and Noble, and I was flipping through it, and I was like, wait, what? That premise is that should have been the title of their comic. Sometimes, I mean, people in space be having sex. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Gay people in space be having sex. I don't know what to tell you. I'm for real. But it's such a great like space opera, sci-fi epic kind of thing. Yeah. So this was the number 6. So it's the end of the first trade. You know, they're gonna take a break. They're gonna work on some more. What have you come back? I'm excited for it. If you can, yeah, check it out. The trade. I don't know when the trade is gonna be coming out. Probably in maybe a month or so.
Okay.
Maybe. Because issue 6 came out, I want to say last week or the week before, and I was like, there's some time jumping because they're telling backstory also about the captain and the crew, so it can be a little disorienting at first. But when you start reading it, like you'll get into it and you'll be like, wow, this is ridiculous. It's beautifully done. Next up, we have Nubia, Real One from DC Comics. This is their graphic novel that came out this past Wednesday. Yeah, I'm actually going to be going out to Barnes & Noble and seeing if they have it today.
Okay.
This is one of their other young adult books. This is Nubia, who is known to be Diana Prince's sister from Themyscira, or as she's been called, the Black Wonder Woman. For some reason, I don't know. For some reason, lately, that moniker, I don't know, bugs me. But you know,
why? Because it takes away her agency. You feel? Like?
Yeah. Like
I can understand
because it makes it like she's a stand-in. Because you see a lot of for DC especially, you see a lot of stand-ins. You know, John Stewart, you see that sometimes. But this is like, I don't know if this is going to be a one-off or if they're going to have a series of these novels. I don't know, because I know they have a few of these young adult novels. There's one for Green Lantern too, where it's a young Asian American boy who becomes a Green Lantern, I believe from his grandmother or great grandmother, who owns a restaurant. I need to read that because it looks amazing. And it's this young, he's maybe like a teenager, maybe like 14, 15, something like that, maybe. And he's a Green Lantern. And I think he gets the ring after she dies. It's awesome. This is from L.L. McKinney, who might be more known for A Blade So Black.
Yeah, and that's another book on the list that I need to read.
I finally bought it from my Barnes Noble because they haven't had it for the longest time. And then one day I was like, oh, I was just going to check it out because I wanted to look for this. And there's another book, Black Panther, Red Leopard, I think is the name of it.
Okay.
Another like fantasy sci-fi book. And I went in and I looked there. I was like, oh, well, let me see if they got it. And they had it. And I was like, give me that. I snatched it up hard. I was like, look, you don't want to tell me nothing. Grabbed it. Yeah. So that's another one. It's like a dark, urban Alice in Wonderland story.
Okay.
Which I want to check out.
Check that out. There's so many novels I got to check besides comics. So many. Like I'm still reading A Phoenix First Must Burn. Have you heard of that one?
No, yeah.
A Phoenix First Must Burn. It's an anthology series of short stories, sci-fi and fantasy mostly, written by Black women. So, and
how long has that been out?
I want to say it came out in 2019.
Okay.
I want to say maybe towards the end. But I'll look it up while we're talking. But because I don't want to be made a liar on live.
Next up on DC is the next Batman, Second Son. This is a miniseries. I want to say 4 or 5 issues. This kind of is spinning out of Future State, which is still going on. This is telling the story of Tim, aka Tim, quotations Jace Fox, who is the new Batman in DC Future State. This tells the story of where he's been all this time, before coming back to Gotham and taking on the role of Batman. I'm interested in. This is one that I bought also. There are a few. There was one that's the House of L, which is like again set in the future, and it tells about Clark's or Kal-El, I should say, his the future of the House of L, of his descendants. and what they're doing looks interesting. I'm usually not like a big Superman reader, stuff like that, but it's interesting. And DC Future State interests me. There's just a lot of some of them I actually gave up on. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I can't be messing with y'all because it's every week, and I'm like, God damn, what the. But I have some of them, so I do want to read through some of the number ones I did get. Like I got Swamp Thing. I have a bunch. I just got a bunch of the shit. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's again, it's a lot to read. I think I have both of the Wonder Woman ones, which I liked, and there's I'm trying to think of. I bought a few of them besides those. I'm trying to think of all the ones that I bought, but yeah, I have to read those too. Just real quick, so Phoenix First Miss Burr was actually published in March 2020. See, I almost became a liar.
March 2020. Okay.
So it was March 2020, and the editor is Patrice Caldwell. She put together, I guess, got together a bunch of Black women who are science fiction writers, fantasy writers, and stuff, and they all got together and did an anthology, and it's an anthology of short stories, really, really good so far. So I'm really enjoying every story I've read. I've liked so far. So
see, I'm gonna go. So when I go to Barnes and Noble, I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna see if they got that. If they got that, I think there's a buy one get one half off coupon. So I'm on that. So I definitely want to talk. I definitely want to like get into more now. Like my goal for 2021 was to become more of a geek polymath and learn more about everything. And one of the areas that I'm weak in, honestly, are novels and such. I have novels that I need to read that I've bought. I just haven't gotten them. Some manga too, honestly. Next up, we have Two Moons, #1. This is from Image. This is a new title that just came out this week. It is about a Union soldier named Two Moons. Well, that's the name that he has with his people, with his tribe, because he is a First Nations indigenous character. And how in the middle of the war, he begins to find that he has some supernatural abilities. He's able to see monsters and such like that. Look, one of my gripes with Supernatural, the series, even though I watched it for a long time, I stopped at a certain point because I was like, the show's never going to friggin' end. Then it ended. Was the fact that they didn't, for it to be a show of Supernatural here in America and kind of be like a Western kind of like show, they did not, and it's supposed to be about monsters and lore in America. I think they maybe did one episode where they dealt with indigenous lore or mythology, such like that, and they never had any indigenous or First Nation hunters. It made no sense to me. That should have been what you should have done.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That's ass backwards. I don't. And unfortunately, Trickster was canceled among some controversy. Unfortunately, yeah, it was. Yeah, someone apparently or allegedly, I don't know which word I should use, did not tell the truth about their heritage. One of the people behind the scenes.
Come on.
One of the people behind the scenes. One of the showrunners and such like that. Did, and it caused this huge thing. And I was like, she up here bussing. Like I'm not going to get into it. 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 But it sucks. But to have this representation is really cool. And the comic, I read it. Oof, loved it. Beautiful. Check it out.
Are the creators also indigenous?
I want to say the lead writer is. I have to double check on it though. But even if by chance he isn't, the fact that there's even a story out, I'm like, okay, yeah, thank you, because it doesn't. But I feel like there's going to be something big coming up with indigenous and First Nation creators and writers and project. I feel like there's something, because Trickster was really, really good, but because of that BS that happened. But I feel like there's something. I feel like there's some type of groundswell happening. Something big is going to be coming up. Yeah. I'm not sure why I have that feeling, but I feel like there's something coming up.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it, because it definitely need more indigenous stories.
Yeah.
For one of the main reasons is that they just go so ignored and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because especially here, you know, in North America, that where there's such a history with them, and so I would love to see more of those stories.
Yeah, I definitely would too because unfortunately they erase that history, so they don't tell a lot about it.
They do,
They just don't.
but this is why these stories are so important, right?
Yeah,
Because you know, it's an undoing of all that bullshit. So
yeah, and to see that it's just beautiful, and to see these different stories that you might not know about that history or that lore, and it's something new. It's great. It's cool. You're supporting, and it's just fun as hell too. Speaking of fun and different stories, Excellence number 10. They made their return this week. I'm catching up. I'm on issue 6. I want to say now. I have all the issues.
I think I'm right where you're at. Yeah.
6, yeah.
Or 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'm excited. This team, Brandon Thomas, Kari Randolph, Emilio Lopez, and Duran Bennett, killing it. And I saw them damn T-shirts and the hoodies.
I was so bad when I saw. I was so bad because I was like, I need every single one. I need every single one
because they're so dope. And I heard about them when I was watching their panel for the Skybound Expo,
right?
Because I wanted to hear what they were talking about. And I was great. And then right after they had a commercial for the damn hoodies, and I was like, I know y'all lying. I know you. And I watched. I was like, great. They also have there are 2 T-shirts that are out already, which obviously I own, but they have this as well. I'm just excited. This is something different, so different, and a great story. We talked about it on my spinoff solo podcast, the Hungry Bleek. Check that out. Yeah, it's just amazing. I loved it. I'll rattle through these next few ones because there's a lot. Homesick Pilots. This is basically the story of a girl who gets trapped in a haunted house, and someone comes in and steals the items in the haunted house, which I don't know why the hell you would do that. Why would you? Why? Especially when the house has a history in the town. And basically, it's her bandmates. She's part of a band called the Homesick Pilots. That's her name. Which, now that I think about it, is actually kind of a cool name for a band.
Yeah.
They're like an indie punk band, and the house takes her when everybody's trying to look in the house because they want to do. There's 2 rival bands, and they want to play in that house. They want to do a concert from that house. Punk, something like that. And the house takes her, but like makes everybody kind of makes them kind of kill each other and go crazy and kicks them out of the house. People come in and steal from the house. She actually goes out as a ghost. I don't know, but told if she's alive or dead yet. And she goes out, and she goes because the items that are in the house are obviously cursed. They're haunted items as well. She goes, and it's her duty to go and get these items for the house because the house wants them back.
Right.
Kind of horror, cool. I like it because it was just different. I read it and I was like, wait, what? I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to read it. Again, it's something different. The superheroes are great, but there are so many stories being told in comics right now. And it's Image. I mean, Image has 11 different damn stories to tell, and they're going to tell each and every one whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Another one is Stillwater. Number 6 came out from Image, excuse me, again. There's a town called Stillwater where once you cross the border, you do not age and you cannot die.
That's interesting.
And
you should be doing their like synopsis. Like they should just hire you to write, because you're hitting on the whole story in like 2 or 3 sentences.
Because you have to, you have to, and I'm sure that's how they had to pitch it. They had to. So this guy and another in I want to say in the East Coast, what have you, because this is in like kind of like the Midwest, the town Stillwater. He gets a letter that's saying that he has inherited something. I want to say. So he goes, checks out, finds out about Stillwater. He's like, this town's kind of weird. What's going on? And they're like, oh, hey, how are you? But they try to rush him out of the town. He happens to see a kid jump off of a roof and die.
Oh wow!
He's like, oh my gosh! Grabs the kid and he takes him. The doctor's like, oh no, it'll be fine. You can go. He's like, no, kid's hurt. He's dying. Whatever. Kid snaps up, back, hops up off the table, runs out the door. He's standing there going, "What the hell was that?" He was like, "Oh, I guess he wasn't hurt as hurt as you thought he was." He was like, "No, no, no, he was broken. That kid jumped off of like a roof. He was done." So he finds out that the town like doesn't take in any outsiders. And if you do take an outsider, they have to vote for it, see what happens for you. If you go against the town, but they have to keep you there, they punish you. So they'll either bury you for a month because they know that you can't die. And because putting you in jail doesn't do anything, what have you. If they find that you are doing something that you shouldn't be doing and they need to kill you, they take you just outside of the town line and kill you because you'll die.
Wow.
If you're somebody, just say like they shoot you in the gut and you're bleeding out, if you crawl your way to the other side, you'll heal. But you don't age, nothing like that. Really interesting. Yeah. So Stillwater is awesome. Then there's Erratic, which is from AWA Studios in their Upshot imprint. This is a company I never heard of, but Kari Andrews, who created Reno Jones. And also had a 12-issue story for Iron Fist a few years ago. I love his art. I love his idea of writing. This is basically like kind of like Spider-Man. Young kid gets powers, but he only gets them, I think, for 10 minutes a day. So how do you deal with that? How do you navigate that? And you just move to a new town. Really art is beautiful, really pops. Andrew's art is great. Pops. I think he actually directed a couple of episodes of TV, and I think he has a movie that he just directed as well.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I have to check it out and look at it, and I'm a fan of it. So this is issue 3. Check it out. Indie. It's available. It's available digital and in print. But I'm a fan of his, so I wanted to check this out, and I like it. It's cool. It's something, like I said, like Spider-Man, but he only gets the powers for like 10 minutes.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to. Scroll just getting longer and longer and longer.
Strange Academy Volume 1 came out. This is one I love. Humberto Ramos is on art. Scotty Young is writing. When Magic came back to the Marvel Universe, which I didn't know Magic was gone, what have you. When Magic came back, all these kids got magical powers from all over and are developing magic. So where else are you going to have an academy but in New Orleans? And it's the Strange Academy because it's from Doctor Strange, but its headmaster is Dr. Voodoo. Yes, I will not call him Brother Voodoo because he is Dr. Voodoo. He is a sorcerer as well. Put some respect on this man's name. Give him his flowers. Y'all can all kiss my behind. And you have all the different teachers who are magical beings. You have Damian Hellstrom. You have Magic. You have Agatha Harkness. Like you have these people there. All these from all of, and they're teaching. And you end up finding out that there's a cult in New Orleans that is after them. And then that's when the arc ends. And they start finding out more about the kids themselves. There's a lot of backstory there because, again, it's New Orleans. And one of the students, her last name is Laveau. If you know, you know. If you don't, look it up. Look up Laveau. That name has been in 2 comics I really enjoy. Scott did some Strange Academy, and also one called Mind to Avenge, which is that sci-fi horror mix that Robert put down. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Robert Jeffrey.
Yes, definitely. If you don't know about Mind to Avenge, please go and buy it, please. Looking forward to that 3rd issue. Congratulations to the creative team and Robert for everything going on there. And Subsume, is that the
Subsume? I think is how you say
Subsume. Thank you.
Yeah, with Dedrin Sneed.
Yes. So that's awesome as well. And then we have Marvel Voices Legacy. This came out this week as well. Actually, yeah.
Yes, this is another one I still got to get into.
Yeah, this is the third. Yeah, the third entry, third or fourth entry, I want to say.
Yeah.
The one previous to this was Marvel Voices again, but it was for Indigenous and First Nation creators. The one before that was for Black creators. This one I want to say is a mix.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure, but I just love the fact that they're giving, and it's people all over. They're writing art, um, different little short stories and stuff like that are up. It's like a wonderful potluck of their creative vibe and juice and things that they're inputting into this, from the art to the writing. To design. It's just very beautiful, and I love it. As far as gaming news, I was actually playing this demo early this morning, Outriders. Um,
Outriders. I
yeah,
have not played that.
it hasn't come out. It comes out April 1st. The demo I think just dropped. Maybe I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know normally play demos, but I saw the preview for this game and I liked it. It's a mix of Gears of War and Mass Effect,
Oh,
like
okay.
kind of a mix of that. I want to say
Yeah.
you get to create your own character,
Mm-hmm.
which I love that in a game. It's just because then I get to do what I want to do, which makes it
Mm-hmm.
fun for me. So that's cool. Had fun. I haven't even finished the demo, which shows it's a long ass demo.
Wow.
I haven't
So
even
I'm gonna
finished
have
it.
to.
It's a long demo.
That's on PS4 or PS5.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, four.
Four.
We
Is
we ain't
anyone
there
even
five yet.
getting a PS5? Does anyone even have it? I heard they all got scalped.
I'm saying like eventually I'll get it. Eventually.
Yeah, I don't buy I don't buy new systems in the first year at least. I
Yeah.
let them work out the kinks and everything
Yeah. And
and drop
also
that slightly cheaper one.
for real. The slim down version, the one
The
that
slim
doesn't
down
overheat.
version.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
So,
Oh,
and in the end, pretty much like the little news that we have there, there is an excellence from Skybound, as we were talking about excellence. There's a Kickstarter going on, for a tome, basically an omnibus. This is issues 1 through 9 hardcover. This was also announced during the Skybound Expo event last week, I think it was, or the week before. It's already been funded, but still go ahead and kick in because because I had a mission and it was to own every issue of the first arc of this comic 1 through 6, and I did.
mhm.
I have the trade. I have all 6 issues and every single cover, every printing, every variant. I have all of them.
Yeah.
So I saw this and I was like, well, you're not going to make me a liar. So I put in for it. Um, it is a hardcover, so it is going to be a bit pricey if you do decide to get it. But it is beautiful, and the add-ons that they have are amazing.
Mhm.
Um, So yeah, check it out if you want to. If you're a fan, if you just want to have something beautiful on your bookshelf or what have you, check this out. Thank you for actually letting me know about this little nugget. Will
Okay.
Eisner Spirit of Comics Retailer Award ballot. This is basically a ballot. You write in the information for your comic book store that you love, your local one or one that's not so local.
Mhm.
My local one is 5 minutes away from me, but there's another local one that is like almost an hour and a half from me. But that is my local shop as well because I love it.
Mhm.
Shout out to Demetrius and his crew. Honestly,
Yeah.
awesome stuff.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is great. Whoever you vote for, what have you. I don't know what the criteria is. I don't know who's going to win, what have you. But if you have a local comic book shop, they're a smaller place, and you want to show them love because comic book shops have been holding us down for this entire pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, and being able still doing what they do and finding out different ways of doing it. Go vote for them, please, just because it shows up. Even if they don't win, just let them know, hey man, I wrote you in, I voted for you.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. And
Yeah.
just one of the criteria that, or two of the criteria that I know are probably standouts are they must have been open for at least 2 years, and they cannot have won previously. So
Right.
if you go to the website, there's a whole list of
Hmm.
stores that have won, so you can make sure yours isn't on that list. Other than that, like, it's fair game.
Yeah, and I think this is just a really cool thing to do for them. This shows love and support. Aside from just buying from them, this shows love and support and show that
Hmm.
what, I really do appreciate you all for what you do. Um, and the final thing, I want to give a shout out to this incredible writer, M. Shias Dash. She has a poetry book that came
Yes,
out.
I need to get that too.
It is called Woman in Sujud. I looked
Hmm.
it up on YouTube to know how to say it. I'm not a poetry reader. I actually wrote a review on Amazon for this. M. Shai is one of my favorite people on social media, and one of my favorite writers, because when I picture her writing, it's almost like how Hannibal Lecter would be cooking his meals in Hannibal. The detail,
Right.
the preparation, the elegance of it all. That's how I picture her writing process. When she, I'm not saying she's like got all that, but I'm saying her
Mm-hmm.
process is very detailed, is precise, is elegant, and there's passion, there's love into it. I look at her vocabulary like how Scrooge McDuck's money bin is. It's that wealth of, and I just, there were things in here. One of the things that I excelled at in my reading classes in English that I was told
Mm-hmm.
is context clues.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. I could figure anything out from a couple of sentences. Maybe that's why I'm so good at that synopsis of just giving you two sentences and
Yeah.
let me figure
Yeah.
something out. There were words that I did not know because they are words that were Arabic or of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked them up, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed having that challenge and learning something different, um, of things I did not know. And I even had to look this up, and it's a position in one of the prayers that you do, um, if you're a Muslim. I just
Mm-hmm.
loved it. So it was, and there's a story about a princess that I think I heard about years ago that I had to re-look. And it's called Resurrecting a Princess. I will not butcher her name,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it was beautiful and very heartbreaking. But it's just
Mm-hmm.
very great. So if you can go to Amazon, Woman in Sujud from M Shy S dash. Yes. Oh, also shout out to Demetrius again for this nugget.
Yes.
Access guide to the Black comic book community 2020 to
So
2021.
there's no excuse now. There's a whole book. I mean, there wasn't an excuse before, but you really don't
Correct.
have an excuse now.
It tells you different comics. It's not in alphabetical order, unfortunately. The
Mm-hmm.
comics, like any of it, but it does give you like categories. There are, let me see. There is a forward which is by Ariel Johnson of Amalgam Comics and Coffee Shop. Awesome. But it has categories for comics, publishers, stores, and conventions. So there's
Mm-hmm.
no excuse anymore. There isn't. There isn't.
Yeah.
There isn't.
Yeah.
So those are that. And that's pretty much it.
Wow.
That was a
You
lot.
guys, that was a lot, but you guys have a lot to
There's a lot to take
look
in.
up, walk
Yes.
away. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know I have a ton to read now.
There's
Um,
always so much. There's always too much.
One thing I wanted to mention, I have been doing when I have time. Uh, it's true.
Which
I just
is
been doing when I have time. Illustrations from independent comic books for like I've done eating vampires. I did
yes, yes.
yeah, I did Diary of a Mad Black Werewolf, which we talked about.
Hmm.
So I wanted to do one more,
You also did
and
a Crescent City Monster, didn't you?
I did Crescent City
Yep.
Monsters, and I did Changa from Changa and the Jade Obelisk.
Wait,
Uh,
did I miss the Chonga one? Did I
the
miss that?
Changa one was the first one I did.
I don't remember seeing that. Oh, all right. Well,
All
I got to check it out. All
right.
right, Pat. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you.
So I wanted to do one more, but I'm not sure what to do. So I want to put it out there. If anybody has a comic that they're doing, the only rules are it must be a black creator, must be a black
Mhm.
character.
Okay.
And if you want to shoot me in my DMs or in my email, which is takeiadraws@gmail.com, Takeia, the word draws at gmail.com. Send me a link to your book and I will take a look at it and I'll pick from, whatever I get, which character to do next. This would be probably the last one I'm able to have time to do.
Hmm.
So, but I wanted to do something to spotlight, some indie people who may not have like the spotlight on them as
Hmm.
much as some others. And so, I just wanted to. I like drawing other people's characters, believe it or not. It's just that I never have the time to do it
Yeah.
as like fan art and stuff. So,
Hmm.
if you guys have trying to stop saying you guys, by the way. if
Y'all.
you all, if y'all have if y'all have any, you know, books that you've done, comics that you're working on, and if you like my stuff and would like to see possibly a drawing by me, then please send me a link to your book and I will check it out.
That's awesome. That because I saw it was good and I was like, ooh. I was like, she out here spitting this fire. She, all right. She got these visual bars. I was like, damn, like the one, and it was comics that I love too. That's the thing. It was comics that really hit me, and I was like, oh, she did, and but then I was like, is she trying to do variant covers? Like, is somebody re-releasing them? Where's that Kickstarter at? Because I'm down for these variant cover, like this Kickstarter variant cover. Because you were doing comics that like I'm constantly talking about that hit me. And I was like, bet. And it's funny because the comics that you've done for Michelin Hess and Newton Delavoir are two people that I've had on the Hungry Bleek podcast.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's what hit me. I was like, damn, this is hot. And they are fire. If please go and check this out, and please go and respectfully go into the DMs. Respectfully.
Yeah, please, no nonsense in the DMs. I just want to see.
She's just trying to do art. She's not trying to do all that. Because if I got to put my pancakes down and come after you, it's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. Because I don't want Robbie to have to do light work. I'll take care of it. Robbie's here for like apocalypse and like doomsday. Like Robbie's muscles can't be dealing with like light work. Because they're beautifully done, and just when I saw them I was like, this is really cool. I love this. And I didn't know what you were, like I said, I thought they were going to be like re-releasing something with variant covers, and I was like, this is dope. I mean, maybe I could speak that into the universe. I'm saying like because I'll put in for that Kickstarter. I'll still put in for that Kickstarter for real.
I definitely just wanted to do fan art of books that I enjoyed. Some of them, you know, you had recommended to me, but people, not even just their books, but people that I'm a fan of too. I'm a fan of Regine because Regine does so much out here in these streets, man. And she's been doing it for a long time,
Yes.
And as you know, with Micheline, like I knew her from her children's book. So when she dropped Diary of a Mad Black Werewolf, and her style was just so different. And it was, you know, everything that was going on at the time is in terms of police brutality and all of that stuff. And just the way that she did, I was like, oh my God, it hit me right in the, I don't even know, like the artistic, like the inspiration.
It was my favorite. And I told her, I said, this is my favorite comic of 2020. Hands down. People came up, that was the best thing out of 2020.
Yeah. So, you know, I just wanted to do something with people that I'm a fan of, books that, you know, I really like the you know, whether it be the story or the characters. And, you know, I like to do one more. So if you have anything, please send it to me. And I'm not asking you to send me, by the way, a PDF of your book. I will buy your book. I'm just asking you to send me a link to where I can see, you know, all the stuff. So
yes. Awesome. Will you be putting that up on IG and Twitter possibly?
Yeah, it'll be on Instagram. It may be late. It may not technically be in February, but it'll be up there. Look, Black History Month is not just a month, 365 days, every day. So
we celebrating melanin all year.
Yeah, exactly.
We celebrating this melanin all year.
Exactly. So, so just send me whatever you have, and I'll take a look.
That is awesome. Yes, I will be, when you post that up, I will be sharing that because I would love to see what someone comes up with and what creation it would be. My mind boggles at some of the ideas of the comics that people might put out there, because I can think of some, like I can think of one person that might rush to do it. He'll like fall over himself to do it.
Oh yeah.
to like do that. But I'm excited to see who will say something and who you will choose, because that's the best part too. And seeing what you do, because those were just like, so I thought they were going to be variants. I was like, yo, I'm about to get this. I'm about to kick in for this Kickstarter. Where's that link? I really did, but then when I saw that you kept doing it, I was like, is this going to be like a variant cover book she's putting out, like a coffee table book, like something you put out?
I
Like with
did
that?
come out of nowhere, kind of, and just do
For
it.
real.
And
Like
I
you
didn't
just
announce anything. I didn't say anything. I just did it. You know what? I wish I had. In all honesty, I wish that I had started in like December or even earlier than that, so that, or maybe not even December. Dang, that's 2 months. December or January is what I mean. So that I could have gotten more in. I kind of like, February came and I was like, man, I do want to do something, but I don't have a lot of time to do as much as I'd like to do. So, I just started picking from. So, and sometimes I had no idea what I was going to do that week. I just was reading something, was like, ooh, I want to do this. So,
sometimes it just hits us. Sometimes it just hits, and you're like, okay, bet that's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So, on that incredible note, folks, that has been another episode of the Fandom Initiative. These last 2 episodes went kind of long, just because there was a lot going on, and Michael having one of his old childhood friends with him and getting that info was great, and then having my food running buddy, Takeia. Notice the title of this episode is going to be Gluttons of the Multiverse.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is the truth. We will eat up any universe possible.
Exactly. I'm making shrimp and grits tonight, by the way.
I know, you better stop lying.
I know. I just want to let you know.
The funny thing is, I don't even like shrimp anymore, and I don't like grits, but I would eat it because I trust you. That's the only reason why.
I'm gonna kill it
because I trust you. In fact, that first chance we get when things are not as hot and what have you, we're gonna have a whole day. I figure we start out at Melba's and we end at ramen, and whatever happens in between is the work of the deities. Whatever, I don't care.
You might have to roll me back up here. Like,
look, I think I wheelbarrows. It'll be all right. So on that, I want to say thank you to Takeia Marie. Where can folks reach you at, again, for checking out your work and everything that you've got going on? Where can they reach you at?
So at Takeia Marie is where it's at on all social media. Like I said, you can also shoot me an email for the fan art at takeiadraws@gmail.com. And my website is takeiamarie.com.
Outstanding. Thank you again so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, like this was just really cool to have you on, and just a lot of fun, honestly, truthfully. We will be back next week. Maybe we'll be talking news. Maybe there will be something else that happens. Maybe we'll just be talking about a movie. I don't know, but I will be here. Hopefully Michael will be here as well. Because like I said, thoughts are with you, brother. All the energy and mana is yours, and for Lady Mina and your family. Okay, we're here for you. Yeah. I am Antonio Pomares, the Hungry Bleek, once again. Also, check out my solo podcast, spinoff that I have, the Hungry Bleek, drops every Monday at 6 a.m. Takeia has been a guest on it. The next guest is Micheline Hess.
Yes.
And that was a ridiculous episode.
Ridiculous. I can't wait to watch that one.
2 of the most random people possible, just talking about a really old movie. It was really fun. You can also catch me on the Zion Network's Lit Pick segment. I go on like around 6:15 or so, like that, and I give some of my recommendations for books. So that's it. Everyone, have a good day. Enjoy the rest of it. And as always, do the best you can with what you got, because that's all we get.
Later, guys.
It's like the best pep talks I can give anybody, honestly. That's about it. All right. Thank you. Peace.
Peace.